Good morning. I'm here at the Wild Basin Trailhead, located inside Rocky Mountain National Park. And I know you can't see it because it's too dark, but I got my lucky parking spot. And today, I'm going for Castle Lake. I might hit up some other destinations, but I'm for sure going to get Castle Lake. Official start time, 6:10. And in 30 minutes, I've made it up here to the handy dandy campsite shortcut trail. And since I'm going up to the Lion Lake area, I'm going to want to stay to the right and utilize the shortcut. All right, and I'm trucking right along. It's taken me 1 hour and 5 minutes to get up here. And I'm going to stay to the right and take it on over to the Lion Lake trail split. And finally, I made it up into the sunshine. And you guys remember how in Aliens, best movie ever, Ripley had to pull all the webbing off Newt? Well, this hike is kind of like that, except instead of Ripley, it's me, and instead of Newt, it's my face. Yeah, the spiders mostly come out at night. Mostly. Since I got to work the next 2 days, I didn't want to go for anything too crazy today. So I'm doing kind of an easy one. I mean, this isn't easy. It's a pretty long hike, but it's not too crazy. It's not like doing Mount Meeker or something. And it does get slightly confusing up here off the Lion Lakes trail because you can bushwhack over to these two small lakes called Castle Lakes, but then up closer to Lion Lake number 1, there's a big lake called Castle Lake, and they're not the same thing. Yeah, I don't know who's naming these up here, but it's like you got Castle Lakes and then Castle Lake. Come on, couldn't you think of anything better? I mean, at least name one of them Blue Lake. All right, and in 1 hour and 35 minutes, I've knocked out the 3rd section of trail. And now I'm going to split off to the right, take it up another 2.2 miles towards Lion Lake number 1. But before I start heading up the Lion Lakes trail, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break right here at the trail split. I'm going to pop a caffeine pill and just get this backpack off my shoulders for a few minutes. Beautiful day so far. It's a little windy, but we got those nice blue skies. All right, the 3-minute break is over. Time to continue on. And this Lion Lakes trail is really beautiful, but it's got some uphill. It's all fun and games until you make it out here to this Lion Lakes trail, and then this thing gives it to you. Man. And my mom and I did make it out to Castle Lakes one time. That was a few years ago, and I believe that's on my Snowbank Lake video. And we tried to go out to Castle Lake, but we couldn't find it. However, I did see it on one of Dave Spates' old videos. Shout out to Dave Spates. And I just remember it looked incredible. I just crossed over 10,200, and according to the GPS, Castle Lake is just under 11,200. So I've got roughly 900 more vertical feet up to Castle Lake. And this is a beautiful trail. It's just a tad bit rough. And this trail finally mellowed out a little bit, but my God, it just goes straight up from that trail split. Yeah, this is amazing back here. I haven't done this trail in quite a while, but this is exactly how I remember it. And that wind is whipping today. I'm glad I didn't decide to do a summit hike, because I would have got pummeled up there on some mountain. But down here in the trees, it's pretty much a non-issue. It's not bad at all. On the first part of the hike up to the Lion Lakes trail split, man, I was cooking, moving fast. But ever since I've been on the Lion Lakes trail, my pace has slowed significantly. I'm probably going half as fast now. It's just now 8:30, and according to the GPS, I'm 0.8 of a mile away from Castle Lake. But that's in a straight line, so I'm sure there's more to it than that. And I just crossed over 10,600. So I'm getting up this thing. I just pulled a massive spider web off the lens of the camera, so hopefully that didn't ruin the last 10 shots. Nothing worse than a spider web on the lens. I hate that. And I'm knocking out a big old chunk of this final 500-foot gain right here at the end. Yeah, this trail just ramps up just before Lion Lakes. And then right here from this overlook, I've got another 0.2 of a mile on the trail, and then I'm gonna start the bushwhack. And that's looking over at Copeland Mountain, Mahana Peak, and Tanamaw Peak. Yeah, all this terrain over here to my right doesn't look good at all. Looks nasty. And in Lisa Foster's book, she says to hike it over from Lion Lake number 1. So I might just do that. Lion Lake number 1 is literally just right up the trail here. That's looking up at big old Chief's Head Peak. And I'm just gonna keep taking it out to Lion Lake number 1 and then try and get to Castle Lake from there. Yep, that's what Lisa Foster says to do. And every time I ignore her instructions and try my own route, it usually backfires in my face. So we're not gonna do that today. We're gonna get over to Castle Lake. All right, it is just now 9:15. So that took me 3 hours and 5 minutes to make it up to Lion Lake number 1. And that's not bad. This thing is pretty far out. And I would say it's roughly just as hard as Bluebird Lake to get up here. And you're gonna get a lot less people too. Beautiful. And then that mountain in the background is Mount Alice. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break up here at Lion Lake number 1, get this backpack off my shoulders, and then I'm also gonna fill up my water bottle and drink it down with the life straw. I didn't bring a ton of water in the Camelback today. I planned on just getting my drinks when I was up around the lakes. And this is beautiful up here. Wow. And I was thinking about taking it out to Trio Falls, which is right out there somewhere, but I don't even see them. It's possible that they're dried up. So forget that. I just got done taking a nice little 5 to 10 minute break up here at Lion Lake number 1. However, I want to get over to Castle Lake, so I'm gonna start heading over in that direction. And then right here behind Lion Lake number 1 looks like a no-go. Yeah, I'm not gonna be hiking through that. So instead, I'm gonna backtrack it down the trail a tiny little bit and then just keep my eyes peeled for the best little opening off to the left. And I'm just gonna take it over and try and figure it out. And I'm thinking right here looks as good as anything. So I'm gonna start heading over to the east, right through there. And this terrain doesn't look that bad. It would be nice if this was the lake right here in front of me, but I don't think so. No way it's going to be that easy. Yeah, there's no water right there. I think it's over the next hump. And check it out. We've got a cairn. So I think this is going to be the way. Yeah, it looks like there's a tiny little social trail cutting through here. Up and over that log. Yeah, I think Castle Lake is going to be just off to my left up here. As a matter of fact, I think I can see the water through the trees. Yep. There it is, baby. All right. And that looks like a little sub pond off the main body of water over here. Yeah, this thing is big. So I'm going to find a way over this down tree and then try and take it over there to the southern shoreline. I think I nailed that bushwhack over here to Castle Lake. I really don't see how that could have been much easier. Yeah, this is awesome. And I'm going to ride these rocks all the way around. And this is beautiful. Castle Lake. I finally got it. I'm going to take it right over there to that peninsula. And this is the spot right here. Oh yeah, amazing. And this is a beautiful lake. And I'm going to sit up here for a few minutes, eat my cheesy smiles, cinnamon chip churro strips, and drink my expired vitamin water. And I got my little ladybug friend sitting up here next to me. That's a good sign. Hey, little buddy. It's just now 10:45, so I've been up here at Castle Lake for at least 45 minutes, but it's time to go. It's time to head on back. I got to make sure I grab my poles on the way out. I left them over here on this other peninsula. Yeah, this is an awesome lake, and I'm almost guaranteeing that you're not going to see anybody else out here. It's not a full guarantee, it's an almost guarantee. All right, let's do it. Let's take it on back. And I'm probably going to try a new route on the way back. Maybe stay a little more to the south and see if I can cut a little bit of the distance of the trail off. I'm going to take it down next to this frowny face rock. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's having a good time. He's like, nobody comes up here. I'm just all by myself. Well, at least you got some good views. And I just got cliffed out. This is why you don't question the information in Lisa Foster's book or try and make up your own routes. Because something like this is going to happen. So I'm going to have to backtrack it. Yeah, it should be pretty obvious at this point. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. Now where the heck am I? Yeah, this is not working. Nothing that I'm trying is working. Oh man, what is going on? And now it makes sense why Lisa Foster says to take it pretty much all the way out to Lion Lake number 1 and then backtrack it. Because if you try to cut off the trail earlier, you're just gonna run into all those cliffs. There's pretty much no way up here. So I am now backtracking it to the way that I came into this area, which is completely out of the way from what I was trying. And all right, I've made it back to Castle Lake. Yep, I think it's official. I just did that the dumbest way possible. Oh well, if you're going to get lost, this is a beautiful spot to get lost. Okay, what's going on now? What is going on now? And how on God's green earth did I get back here? My God. That's not the way. I should have routed this on the way in, but did I? No. Why would I have done that? That would have made this too easy on the way back. I'm trying to make it as difficult as possible. Okay. I think I'm back on the right trail here. All right. And there it is. There's that cairn that I saw. Jeez Louise. All right, I think I'm looking good now. Yeah, you almost have to drop in from the north and then take it straight to the north on the way out. I'm pretty much walking directly towards Chief's Head Peak. All right, now I'm back on the trail. And this only took about 5 times longer than it should have. And that's looking out to Lion Lake number 1 right out there. Back on the trail, Feeling good, looking good. And this should be like 98% downhill all the way back to the trailhead. Except for this little part right here. Yeah, there's literally one way to get to Castle Lake, and there's one way to get out of there. Originally, I was gonna try and cut up right in this area somewhere, but if I would have done that, I would have ran into problems. I just would hit all those cliffs, and I wouldn't have made it. Thus far, I've only seen one other person out here all day long, and I saw that guy way down by the campsite shortcut split. He asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm gonna go for Castle Lake, and he looked at me like I had boogers hanging up my nose. He was like, what's that? I was like, it's way out there by Lion Lake #1. He was like, oh. And that is such a beautiful area up there with lots of destinations to hike to. There's Lion Lake 1, Lion Lake 2, Snowbank Lake, Castle Lake, Trio Falls. And then if you really want to test yourself, you can go for Mount Alice or Chief's Head Peak. However, if you go for Chief's Head Peak from that side, there is one real nasty Class 3 section that's pretty exposed. Plus, there are two other waterfalls up there that I've never been to. Thunder Falls and Fan Falls. I was thinking about adding those on today, but seeing as how there was no water coming down Trio Falls, I didn't think it would be a good time to try them. So I'm gonna add those to the list and maybe go for them next year, earlier on in the season when there's more water. Yeah, this Lion Lakes trail is by far the hardest part of the hike. From the trail split up to Lion Lake #1, that 2.2 miles is rough. You do a lot of gain, and the trail is pretty narrow and rocky. All right, now I have completed the Lion Lakes trail section of the hike coming down. And this took me an hour and a half to get from Castle Lake back down here to the trail split. And that even includes going the wrong way 6 times. I'm so glad I decided to hike today and didn't just stay home and lay around and do nothing. Yeah, I'm probably gonna pay for this hike tomorrow when I have to work, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna have to push through it. I can't let these nice summer days slip away. I gotta come out here and get good footage for you guys. And the Wild Basin is an incredible area, really scenic, and you can't go wrong with any of the hikes out here. They are all top quality. And I feel like a lot of people forget about this area because it's not connected to the main part of Rocky Mountain National Park. Wow, it's only September 4th, and some of the aspen leaves have already changed colors and fallen to the ground. And I'm back on the main trail. I have finally come down the campsite shortcut trail. And I have never understood why it takes longer to come down that thing than it does to get up it. Man, that's probably my least favorite part of the entire hike. And up to this point, I've still only seen that one other hiker. However, I think that's about to change. And this little guy was taking a dirt bath. And then I pulled my phone out to do a video, and he thought it was food. He came over to me. But when he realized I didn't have food, he was like, oh, to heck with you. All right, and I'm back. Wild Basin Trailhead. It is just now 1:55, so that took me 3 hours and 10 minutes to come down from Castle Lake Took me 3 hours and 5 minutes to get up to Lion Lake number 1, and then probably another 20 minutes to get over from Lion Lake to Castle Lake. Total mileage on that one's going to be 13.2 miles with right around a 2,700 foot elevation gain. Well, I hope you enjoyed that hike, and until the next one, y'all, peace.